today we're playing some Kerbal Space Program. So I did a poll. I really wanted to play Kerbal Space Program, but I figured I'd give people a choice. So I did a poll on my Discord server and let everybody vote. Thank you for the host, Digital Deviant. I did let everybody vote between this and Hearthstone. And people picked this. This was the overwhelming winner. So I had a really long stream on Wednesday. If you missed it, those VODs are going to be going up over time on YouTube, or if you want to cheat the YouTube system, you could just go right to the VOD. It starts out as RageCraft, but then continues on with the other 4 hours of Kerbal Space Program. So this is part of the mission that was there. So this is kind of spoilers, so sorry about spoilers. Yeah. So this is the intro screen. Let's go back to the Space Center. At the end of that, I ended up getting a lot of science. I discovered the mobile processing station and got tons of science. So if we look, take a quick recap of what I've done. If we look, I've done all kinds of sciencey things all the way down the tech tree. I still have more to go, obviously, but I've made it very far. So we're gonna look at the ship that I started to do work on. I think I'll probably keep it the way it is. At the end of the last stream, I worked on. Yeah, I've done a lot. I've been, because with these science things, you can have them just like orbiting, load in some science, speed up time, and then and you're able to get lots and lots of science. So that's what I've been working on. The last thing I did, so I had to add lots of batteries and solar panels to actually have enough power. That's one thing I didn't tell Scody about. But now, since I've gotten a bunch of science, I've increased it. So now I have these guys. That's not the right thing. Toggle. I don't know why I just toggled. I want to click on this. So now I have these guys that I'm going to try out. I haven't tried these out yet. So we'll see how that works. Yeah, it's like a big cake. And then we also have increased our batteries. So these are 4 times more have more capacity than the other guys, than the smaller guys I used to have. Then we have some backup other solar panels there. I added on these things, so that's more sciencey things, I think. And we have a couple different of those. It looks nice, and I've positioned all this stuff so that it looks nice. So I didn't want to block this, and then I wanted to try and keep this. I guess that parachute's sort of blocking a little bit of it, but make the audience like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Still missing the safe locker for all the goo. Yeah, well, yes, it's true. I didn't put on that. What I don't know is when I re-enter, if last time I tried to re-enter with this, something messed up where it ended up blowing up on re-entry. So everything blew up. But what I'm thinking is, in theory, I might be going down with this because I have guys in there, so I want to bring that with. And I have a heat shield on there, so I'm thinking that the heat shield from there will make it so that these don't overheat because this thing is protecting them. Maybe that's the idea I have. We'll see. So what I want to do actually, I also got some rover stuff, but I'm not going to actually make a rover this time around. I was going to see if I had. There's a next version of the command pod that can hold 3 people, but I guess I don't have that yet. So I will not get that yet. Yeah, so I added in the heat shield there. And in theory, if I was actually doing atmospheric braking, I might be okay. I don't know. Anyway, so this ship is good to go. I gotta make sure I can actually have a crew. So pilot, hopefully we have enough scientists. We do, awesome. And I don't have room for any rescuing, so we're not gonna do any rescuing this time around. I have a few different Kerbins stranded around now after that stream, but let's go to launch. One thing I want to do is, so I put mainsails on the bottom. That's the main thing that's changed recently, so that it can actually take off. I don't want to go too fast, and what I found is that if I tried to angle, it ended up going too steep, and then I was swirling around. Although I was able to actually recover it last time. So anyway, SAS is on. Throttle up and go. So it goes up pretty quick. Once we actually, I don't want to go too quick, so once I get up to around 250, I think I'm actually going to try and throttle down, because this burns up the fuel pretty quick. But at least I can get this huge thing off the ground. He's not so sure about what's going on. So once I get around 250, I'm going to actually throttle these engines down, just so I'm not going too fast, because things just, the thing swirls and everything's bad. So around 250, I'm going to start throttling down. This is a nice improvement to the, so before I had these mainsails, I had the ones that actually have half the power, and the guy wouldn't even take it off at all, so it was pretty bad. So what we're going to try and do now is not spin around in circles, and I'm going to work on doing a gravity turn. So if you're not familiar with this game, I'm going to try and throw in some more stuff to kind of recap some of these things. Yeah, they're not so sure. That guy is not happy. So I'm trying to do a gravity turn so that I'm turning into the rotation, or I guess away from. I'm not sure if I'm turning in or away from the rotation of Kerbal, what's essentially Earth. And I'm trying to make it so that I'm going to orbit. So you sort of turn into, you turn to 90. I don't know if I'm turning away or, I guess I'm turning into the rotation of the planet. And the idea is that, oh, don't spin around. Okay. It was thinking about it for a second there. So I'm turning into the rotation of the planet to get in orbit. It's more efficient, is the summary, I guess. Once you get the rockets, part of your rockets are going to look less like Christmas trees. Yeah. Right, yeah. Once I get rid of some of these bigger guys, things will look more reasonable. So I'm just trying to get over to 90, and then I'll adjust my angle a little bit. So I'm just trying to rotate that little thing. So I'm trying to stick there, and now let's go to the other view. What we want to do is we want to see this. Once it gets up to around about 100,000 meters, with a little bit extra just in case, then I'm going to kill my engines, turn them off, and then set up a rotation. Set up an orbit maneuver. So for now, we're just going to hang out with this. These are about to be all ditched off, and there's going to be a little bit of explosion, but I'm pretty sure it's just some like stability struts. It's not actually that the whole end of the world is happening. So ready? Boop. Oh, there was no explosion this time. Interesting. Previously on Basket streams, there was explosions at this point, but there wasn't this time. That's kind of cool. So these guys, these are half the speed, half the power of those other ones. So they're not going to burn up the fuel quite as quick. Searching that nothing exploded this time when I detached those. I wonder what changed. I mean, I might have moved around some of the struts and stuff, so maybe some of the struts were overlapping with other things. That could be. But yeah, this game is sweet. Kerbal Space Program. If you don't know anything about it, I've been playing it a lot. Now I'm actually getting better at the game, so it's pretty enjoyable. For a while, I couldn't really take off, and that kind of bummed me out. All right, so we didn't do any somersaulting, so we're already doing way better than a lot of my other launches. Once we get up to 100 and so, I'll add a maneuver, and then we'll get in orbit. And I could actually start doing some science. I might grab some science actually from above Kerbal as well, and store that in the science module. And then, based on our fuel, which we have a lot of, I might see where we want to look to next. I don't think struts will ever explode. Maybe. Possible. Yeah, I'm not sure what I did last time you detached your onboard boosters. Well, there's one point, yeah, where I had all my stuff messed up, all my staging. But I think this time around, I think I'm okay. All right, so that's good with that. So let's add a maneuver. We're gonna get this to be a good orbit. So I'm sort of adjusting this. I don't know how many people that are watching haven't really watched Kerbal Space Program, so I'm trying to handle both sides of the audience. I'm basically making this maneuver so that I'm trying to make both sides, both the high part and the low part of my orbit, to be about the same. Okay, that's going to be good enough. He has so much spelling skills. Let me go to this. Grab some science. If science is a thing you can grab, I think. Yeah. So, with these big guys, I told it to go to the maneuver node, so it's slowly trying to get over here, but very slowly. Oh, and I should burn a while ago, so I'm going to burn now. So this isn't going to be perfect, because it wasn't quite at the maneuver node when I fired, but we're going to fire now. We're a little bit closer to it than I thought, but that's all right. So what we're doing is, right now it's aiming, we're aiming for this maneuver. But I'm really just going to watch, because we missed it by a little bit. So I'm really just going to watch the, watch this number, which is 108 currently, and then eventually there'll be something on the other side. Leave the science to the experts. Yeah, this game is, I think it's $40 right now, so you probably want to wait. I mean, it's a great game, so it's worth $40, but I'm assuming it'll go on sale sometimes. Yeah, it'll be... It should be good enough, because this one is high enough. It won't be the exact thing we did in the maneuver, but once we get enough of an orbit, then I can grab some science, store it in the science center. The scientists can work on it while we do other stuff. So right now, alright, so this is starting to come out here. So we can see once this gets to over 100, alright, we can kill it now. So we're good. Okay. So now we are in an orbit above Kerbin. We still have a bunch of fuel. And that's the fuel in these guys. Once I get rid of that, then I have another big engine and just a single one inside of there. Once I get rid of that, then I have another one. But the other one is intended for if I'm going to land on the planet and then get off the planet. So, all right. So now we are here. Let's grab some science. So up here on the top of this, we have a couple different things we can do. Some of them, once we use it, you can no longer use it. So we're going to log the whatever the barometer, I guess pressure. So we're going to store 75 data units in the science thing. So if I were to actually keep it and bring it back, it's 12 science. If I transmit it, it's only 6 science. But if I keep it, put it in the lab, and then work on it, eventually it'll be worth 75, is I believe what that's saying. So that's worth a lot more. So we can do that, put the temperature in there, or I'm sorry, the barometer. And then we have a thermometer hiding right here. So we'll log a temperature. This is worth nothing if you do either of these two, or it's worth 50 if you put it in the science thing. It's pretty amazing. And then again here, if we do a crew report, it's worth nothing because I've already done all that, or it's worth 30 if I store it. Let's go ahead and do an EVA, do the same thing. So I'm not going to let go, but so here I don't have that option yet. So I'm going to actually keep it, and then I get back into the ship with B board, and then I can do review. I see it, and now I can actually store it. So instead of 8, it'll be worth 50 eventually. Okay, so that's all done. I also have these new things here. I don't know, I haven't used these yet. So run atmospheric analysis. Interesting. So maybe I can only do that on the surface. So maybe these cool things I added on don't do anything. I don't know. I haven't used them yet. But so if we look at this, right now he has, this is the science center, the science building. So right now it has 41 out of a huge capacity, and then it's going to slowly generate science over time. Right now I don't have it generating science. I guess I can start, while I'm speeding stuff up. Oh, planes. Okay, interesting. All right, well. Oh, well. It looks nice. And so here, let's observe the goo. I only have 3 of them, so it's only worth 60. So I'm actually going to not use that. I'm going to reset the experiment. I'm going to wait till I'm further away from Kerbin and do something better. I gotcha. Okay. And I think that's all the science I want to do. I don't want to... This thing only has a one-time use, and then these guys have one-time use if I start... So, okay. So now we're good on that. Let's look at the map. So we're orbiting, essentially, Earth. And if we zoom out, there's the MUN. I've already done a bunch of science for the MUN using this thing. So we're going to skip that. I've been to Minmus, and I did science outside of it, orbiting it. But I didn't land properly. Although I do have guys in there, so I think later on I'll try to land, do some science, but then also pick up the guys that are there. So I'll come back to that. So what we want to do is go one step further. So the next thing out, somewhere. Interesting. Is Minmus another moon of Kerbin? I guess I didn't realize that. Huh. Okay, cool. So what we want to try and get to, which is actually harder than I was realizing it was going to be, is let's get rid of all these little objects. So we want to try and get to, what is this? We want to get to, can we get rid of these? And then what is this? I don't know what that is. But so we can try and get to Eve. Let's do Eve. I also had no idea how to use them first. Yeah. So let's see if we can do Eve. So the first thing to do is check the orbit. So the orbit of Eve is slightly different than ours. So let's go ahead and set this as the target. I don't know if I have enough juice to really get to Eve, but we're going to try it. So we want to set that as a target. We're going to... thank you for the host, Piker Eyes. We're going to add a maneuver over here. And then we're going to see how it works. So I'm going to pop out here. So that is saying I'm going to escape escape Kerbin's orbit, and then I'm assuming I will end up in the sun's orbit. So let's see, let's just try out some stuff. So that, I mean, that might be what I have to do first, is get in the sun's orbit and then adjust from there. If you land there, you most likely won't come back. Oh, I won't actually land on Eve. I think I'm just going to orbit it and then do some science that way. Okay, so that will get us into an orbit with the sun. And then from there I can adjust to get to Eve, I think. I think is the way to go. So, let's go ahead, and it's a fairly short burn. So we want to get to that maneuver node, like that spot. So let's point to the maneuver node. It'll take a while for it to actually get there. And then we'll want to burn at 26. So we burn half of the burn time before the tea time. If that makes any sense. So we're going to speed up, get closer to 26 seconds. Although I guess we're not. I'll wait till my thing slowly drifts over to the maneuver node. Eve requires about 3 times more fuel, delta V, to get into orbit compared to Kerbin. Interesting. Okay. Well, we'll see. I've never tried to get to Eve, I don't think, so we'll give it a go. Yeah, Piker Ass has 0 points. You had so many points before. Did you lose it all? Yeah, I still have to actually... I'm not used to Wolfstorm not being available, so I'm actually behind on my point awarding for last time. So still my to-do list is to award points for sharing the stream last time. Oh, you're broke too? Oh no. So right now we're waiting for the ship to slowly drift over to point to this blue, and then once that happens, I'm going to speed up time, because when you actually speed up time, the ship stops being stupid, and like it's aiming for this, but it's gonna overshoot it. These guys are very good. All right, so once we get a little closer, I'm going to speed up time. So we're trying to get to 26. So we're going to go decently fast, and then we're going to go at one more than regular speed once we get closer, just so it doesn't drift. So 26 is what I'm aiming for. We'll run regular speed a little bit just so we can maybe get a little bit closer to the maneuver node. And we don't want to ditch these engines, so I'm going to do that. Alright, so 26. Okay, so I'm actually going to... Alright, 26. Once we get to 26, I'm going to go. He's excited. Look at him. He's so happy. But yeah, it's still got to drift a little bit past it, but it'll be close enough. In fact, we might even pop into this view, just so I can see. Because once we're in orbit of the sun, then I'm fine. I think. It's 26. So right now, the orbit's still in here. We'll see it eventually pop out where it's going to say that I'm going to escape and then enter orbit with the sun. We should have enough fuel. Yeah, I think we'll have enough fuel. Have you looked inside the lab? I have not looked inside the lab. I think we'll have enough fuel. Either way, at least we can do some science going around the sun. So eventually this thing will have a little escape thing. Vector. Oh, I guess it's already there. Maybe? No, there it is. Okay, so there we go. So now, this is saying that based on my orbit, if I warp to here, I'm going to escape. So let's warp there. So that's min-miss. It's going away. And eventually, once we escape Kerbin, we'll have what our orbit will look like. So you said I should look in here. How do I do that, actually? View? Ooh, parts. Ooh, I haven't really been in here. That's funny. Can you walk around or walk around? No. I guess you're buckled in. Snacks. Science. Cool. Okay, how do I get out? M? Nope. Oop. Resume flight? So how might I change my view? Just be careful that you click the right button when you do that. C. There we go. Okay, so we have some fuel left still in that guy. We are now in a big orbit of the sun. So what we want to do is set Eve as the target. And then we want to adjust our orbit. So I think I'm going to add a maneuver here. And then I'm going to try to... Let's see, so let me try to look at this. So I think that guy's orbit is more like this. So which way does this turn it? Okay, the wrong way, I think. So we want to bring this up to be more in line, because it's not quite the exact same orbit of the sun that Eve is on. And so basically, when I adjust this guy, so that makes it, so that means it's pretty close, because this is saying my scroll wheel is a little crazy. I screwed up. So I think when it's doing this, it means that I'm very close to it. Maybe. I feel like that's the answer. Ideally, you want to get to 90 degrees from the maneuver. So like that. Understand? I think that's what I'm doing. Okay, so we'll try that. So it's a 15-second burn in a little bit. Let's try and get to the maneuver node. And actually, while that's slowly turning to the maneuver node, I'm going to let... That's not right. What do you mean it's not right? Maneuvers here, 90 degrees. Along the orbital ellipse. You're saying over here? Okay. I will see how that works. So I want to tweak these guys. Looks pretty 90 degrees. What do you think? I think that's good. Okay. That's perfect. That's amazing. All right. So we're going to slowly drift over to the maneuver node. Just over there. You're going the wrong way. The other maneuver node. Going over there. I need to actually... I have our RCS stuff. I feel like I should have probably added that in. So that... Because I think that worked better in space. I could be wrong. But I should probably invest in that. I'm going to double check my dogs while this is getting to the maneuver thing. So eventually it'll slowly start trying to drift back to the maneuver node, I guess. So for some reason it's drifting the other direction. We'll see. But yeah, I have a lot of time inside the game, and then... Alright, so I'll be right back. I'm going to check the ducks. I'm back. We're still at the maneuver node. Additional reaction wheels would help too. Yes. I don't think I have any reaction wheels. I should add these things I now have in my science thing. Okay, so once I get over to the maneuver node, I'm going to speed up time. I'm going to burn at 7 seconds before. I assume he's working his way over there. Yeah, okay, you're almost there. It's over there. Monoscale capsule has hard time trying to... Yeah. So you're saying that this thing is actually trying to change my positioning? And there's all this stuff? I see. Yeah. Okay, can you aim over to that thing? You missed it. I mean, once I fire, it's going to start positioning, but then it will be off by a little bit. I think it only... Yeah, okay. Well, gosh. If I fire my engines a tiny bit, I mean, it's going to mess up my maneuver, but will that help? I guess I should wait till I'm closer to the actual burn. Alright, I feel like it's getting worse. Did you know you can cheat with warp time? I know that it'll stop the rotating while I'm warping. Right, exactly. I know that part. So what I was going to do is try and get close and then warp time. But that was taking a while. I wanted to get close first, but then I didn't want to get close. So actually right now we're also generating science too, which is kind of cool. I want to warp to my next maneuver. Because I want to burn at 7 seconds, so. I was going to warp to 1 minute before the burn. So we're going to go still speeding up time, I guess. Because it's actually worse. And then we're going to burn real briefly. Hopefully it gets back to the right spot. Shift, time warp, keys, or physics warp. I see. Oh, it's actually drifting back. Look at that. Oh, that's handy. So at 7 seconds, I'm going to burn. Hopefully that was not too broken with our orbit and stuff. This guy's shaking a lot. Alright, kill it. So, we'll see if that is good. Trying to make it so that my orbit, like these lines are lined up. So I think that looks pretty good to me. That looks pretty promising, I think. I mean, these aren't 90 degrees like you were saying, but I don't really know. enough about how that works. So we're going to add a maneuver. We'll just add it somewhere random. What we're trying to do is get our orbit to come in a little bit, to be nearby, but they say 0 degrees, so it should be good. Okay, I don't know where you see 0 degrees. Oh, I see. Okay, cool. Oh, sure. Okay, so then if I sort of swing this around, what I'm going to try and do is look for some spot where it indicates. Aha, okay, so here's the thing. What is this? So the closest approach. So we're almost to where we might. So there is a. So it's a pretty short burn, and that's an even counter. And then the idea is that once I encounter that, I will try to get an orbit around there. So we'll see. So we'll get to the maneuver node. It's a fairly short burn, so I feel like we might still be able to use these as big engines to do the burn. So let's see if my guy will drift over to the maneuver node. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the science. So this guy's already collected almost 26 science just from that time. I mean, there's not a lot of science in there. So I guess actually, while we're out here, let's take a look. Can we stockpile some more science? Yes, we can. So we'll just sort of check the temperature every now and then. And the, I guess the pressure? I forget what the barometer does. No, wrong thing. Oh, I also added more antennas, because I had a couple times where I ended up landing. I'm going to speed up time a little bit. I ended up landing, or crashing, I guess. Why isn't, is that not what I think it is? This guy. Oh, I can't do it, I'm sped up. There we go. I ended up crashing. The science thing survived, but then the antenna broke off. So I've added 2 collapsed antennas on the side. You surely learned you can restore the goo. Yeah, I learned that, but my experience was that then it renders the thing useless. So I was going to save them until I actually got to my destination. So I'm going to speed up time so I start rotating while you tell me how I can actually reset them properly. I know that if I have a scientist that's out there, I think I can reset them. Is that, can I do that if with the scientists, if they were to EVA and then go up there and you can reset the unit? But I don't want to waste it if I'm about to, if I actually do get over to Eve. Is the idea. Because if I store it in here, I think it renders as useless. But then if I'm able to actually reset it, then. But I'm worried because I don't have a ladder here. So if I can reach it from there, that'd be fine. But I don't have a ladder coming this way, which I guess I should have done. Right click on the lab, should say Restore Experiments X. Interesting. Yeah, when I'm not speeding up time. Interesting. Okay. I'll give it a try. Let's try it out. So I don't want my guy to reset weird, but we're going to observe this goo. We're going to store it. So now that's rendered useless, and I'm here. There's clean experiments 1. So you're saying if I hit that, I'll be able to restore it. Will this mess up my science I have in there? You can't have multiple instances of the... Right, I agree. Do I have to wait till I'm done doing the sciencing? If I hit this, what happens? So I just hit it. Let me transmit the science, just in case. Okay, so I transmitted the science, just to be on the safe side. We're going to do clean. So it's cleaning the goo. So we have 104, 110. Okay, so we still kept all the data, and this is repaired. Wow, look at that. So I could actually do this as well then, you're saying? Maybe? So we're going to store that. Okay, and then if we right-click on this, we can say clean it. Amazing. Now we're starting to slowly drift from our thing. So once we're done with this, I'm going to go back to speeding up a little bit so we don't drift away too far from our maneuver. The cleaning takes a while. Yeah, I didn't realize you can clean without even having to leave and worry about EVAing. That's awesome. Okay, so that's done. Good. So we're speeding up time. Let's warp, because the next maneuver is going to be only 15 seconds before, so let's go ahead and just warp to the next maneuver. And then we're going to not hit spacebar, we're just going to use Shift and then X. So once we get to, it's possible we may have to switch engines along the way. Cleaning with the lab works within the same ship. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So this is a long trek over there, which is nice because I'm getting science in the meantime. So okay, we are actually starting to slowly drift to the middle, so that's cool. So at 15 seconds, I'm going to do the burn. We'll see how it works. So yeah, I could have gotten more science in a lot of other places actually, because I had, once I used this thing, I assumed that I couldn't do anything else with it. Yeah, it's pretty overpowered. Stop drifting. Just go back. I'm gonna go to the other view. I'm gonna go hop into this view. We're trying to watch for. So this is coming in a little closer. Once it gets around to here is when I'm going to start seeing possibility of the encounter. Okay, just the engines. Why isn't that working? Oh, right. There we go. There's the explosions I was looking for. So I'm getting ready to kill the engines. Once I see an encounter. So I might have to adjust. If nothing really shows up, once this gets a little closer, then I may need to... do you have multiple radial decouplers? Yes, I do. So you're saying that's bad? Once I see an encounter show up, I'm going to kill this. Okay, I see one. Okay, killing it. Okay, that doesn't work. Okay, oh, that's weird. I figured it'd be more stable. All right. So I want to. Can't really tell what's going on. I'm gonna warp to here. In the blue. Can I get a blue indicator, please? Blue indicator, maybe, just possibly. Oh, that's interesting. I can't. I can't get a blue indicator to show up. All right, let's do. I can't warp there. All right, I think I need to go to the space station because that's freaking out. But it's possible that even when I get over there, I won't be able to, because you're saying it's hard to get into a orbit of them. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. In the meantime, we're still getting science just from this guy. So let's go ahead and go to the tracking station to try and get back to that ship. So the success, 2010 XLT. Okay. So let's go back to here. We're going to warp in a second, actually, but let's double check to make sure that there isn't anything cool we can be doing here. So yeah, we've already done this. Okay, we already have that science going. Do we already have this science? We do not. And then, let's see. Let's do a EVA report. And then keep it. Pop in. Review, store it. Awesome. And now, let's warp. Let's attempt to warp. Whoa. To the, over here. So we're going to warp to, can't warp to there. Interesting. It's very not useful when you do that. If I can get the blue indicator. Okay, I can warp to here. Well, actually, the science is going to run out. I'm going to fill up my science by then. For some reason, I can't warp out here. I don't really understand why. It's very weird. You can double-click Eve to center the camera. Well, Eve is over here. I mean, I can just speed up a lot, and then I'm actually going to watch the science, I think. So let's do, let's fuel. So let's look at this to make sure that we aren't. Oh, we actually are full on science. So let's transfer the science. So let's make sure we have enough power. So our power, yeah, we have lots of power. Let's go ahead and bring out our cool things so we can fuel back up on power after we're done. There's probably a cool button to actually make that work better, but I don't know what it is. Okay, so now we have our things out. We're going to transmit all the science we already have. So we're transmitting. Let's watch our energy to make sure we don't run out. Oh, we actually don't need as many batteries as I have. These things collect enough energy, you know, at the same rate that I'm actually using it up. So that's pretty cool. The other little panels I had weren't as effective. We can speed this up. That's all transmitted. Batteries are still full, so let's go ahead and drop these guys down. Retract. Retract. I guess I didn't click on retract on this one. Retract. Retract. Amazing. Okay. So. Now we're going to go. We're going to warp. We'll just warp manually. And then once we get over to like here, I'll check on the science thing to see if, because if it's full, I'll transmit back. All right, let's take a look. Not quite full. Yeah, I'll go a little further. I can see Eve from my house. Okay, so while we're here, we're actually behind it. That might not be the best maneuver. Well, I have a feeling we're gonna miss this. So if we miss it, it's gonna bring us into a smaller orbit of the sun, which isn't the worst thing. Okay, let's check on the science. So let's go ahead and transmit the science, and then we don't need as many of these out actually, so let's just bring out 2 of them just to make sure we're all stacked up on energy. And we actually don't want to go too fast necessarily, because we don't want to miss our encounter, but I guess we're not. We're fine. Okay, so let's retract these back down. Okay. So we're going to jump to where this encounter starts. I can't warp there. I have to look for the blue indicator. Right there. Ah, whatever. We'll just manually speed up time. Okay, now we can do right to warp here. Warp here. So now this is where the encounter starts, and hopefully we have enough power to get an orbit. We'll see. I mean, we're sort of matched it actually. Interesting. Okay, so I'm actually a little bit above it. That's cool, I guess. Oh, it has a little, oh, we can do, that's kind of cool. It has its own little moon. So that's a neat little orbit. You could aero capture. Yeah, whatever that is. We could definitely do that. So that's an unknown amount of burn. That's cool. Does this guy have an atmosphere? Do I need to worry about that? I guess that's actually pretty far away still. Right. Or no, it's kilometers. Is that like really close to this thing? I don't remember if it's meters, kilometers. Let me think. Is this safe, SP? Is this orbit okay? I don't know how long the burn is going to be. I'll get some feedback before I try to do this maneuver. Eve atmosphere is less than... Okay. Alright, cool. So, we're going to do this burn. I don't know how long it's going to be. Hopefully I have enough fuel for it. We're going to aim for the maneuver node. Very slowly. We're going to get there. Have faith. It's going the wrong way. Anyway. Okay. So we should be fine there. So I can do some science on the outside of this, potentially, and then I can attempt to get to Gilly, which is, I guess, its moon, and then do some science on that, too. So we'll see how that works. Hopefully we can actually get this to happen. If not, we're just going to shoot off into... I don't know where we're going. Yeah, I don't know what happens when we when we lose that. Is air braking just enough for the orbit to turn elliptical? Interesting. Yeah, I will just do this maneuver. Yeah, it sounds tricky to me. So we're almost there, sort of. Yeah. So I think I might keep this. I don't know if I'm actually going to get any closer. Oh, interesting. So, oh, your segment, that is cheating. I knew that I could stop my rotation, but I didn't realize I would actually, like, stop the rotation momentum by speeding up time. Wow. Okay, well, that's cool. It's a little cheating. I should fix that. Okay, so we're going to speed up time. I don't know how long the burn's going to be. Yeah, I know, that's kind of silly. Alright, so once we get to 30 seconds, I will do the burn. I don't really know... Ooh, that's weird. I don't really know what's a warp rate amount. Maybe a minute? Or I could start burning... Once I get to a minute, maybe I'll burn a little bit, and then get an idea of when it talks about the burn. Because maybe it just doesn't realize I have engines. Let's do this. Okay. Yeah, do a test burn. Yeah. So once I get a minute close, like a minute within it, I'm going to do a test burn, a really like light test burn to get an idea. We're getting there. Oh, we're so close to it. Come on, Eve, we can do it. Okay. We're getting there. I'm nervous. New planet. Okay. So around a minute, we're going to do a small test burn to see how it looks. Eve is very purple. Okay. Getting there, almost there. All right. Almost there. All right, I'm going to drop down regular speed. We're going to do a small test burn. That's not working. Okay, so I need to burn at 30, what is it? 40 seconds. It's a fairly short burn. It's not too bad. We're going to get ready with the X key. We can pop into either view. So now we have an orbit, so we're at least not going to shoot off in the middle of nowhere. And we want this guy to be right about there. FYI basket, if you wanted to land on Eve, you could use parachutes. Ooh, that's exciting. I have lots of parachutes. I might consider that, depending on my fuel and everything else. Right, because they have an atmosphere, yeah. See, basket is Eve. Yeah. Doing my thing. Still got some fuel. I might not be able to get to this moon very easily. We'll see. I also don't necessarily need to actually waste all my fuel doing this maneuver, because I have an orbit, and it's using a lot of extra fuel to try and make it a pretty orbit. So we're going to not bother with a pretty orbit right now, because it's kind of useless. Alright, so we're going to do some sciencey stuff. So let's do a crew report and store it. EVA. EVA report. Keep it. Pop back in. Review. Put it in the science lab. We want to do goo. We're going to keep it. And then we want to do materials bay. SP, the science wars has begun. Oh, that one's might be too big, actually. How big is this thing? How much science can this thing hold? Huh, interesting. I thought I was going to go... Oh, maybe I misread that. Was that going to give me... This thing alone was going to give me that much? That's a lot of science. Store. Barometer, somewhere near. Log temperature, pressure. And then... I feel like I've done everything. So let's take a look. We have lots of science. Let's go ahead and clean the other guys. While we're spinning around this guy, I might as well get some power with my beautiful solar panels. Am I still only gophers have a personal asteroid? Yeah, I don't think anybody else has one as far as I know. Okay, so we have lots of power. Let's look at this. My stream's about to end, but I will go ahead and do one round of getting science from this guy. So we're going to zoom in so we don't hurt everybody's eyes. And then we're going to speed up time. Oh, I can't speed up too much. I'll have to, if I wait until I'm on this side, I might be able to speed up time more, possibly. So once we get further away from Eve, maybe be able to speed up time, and then we'll see. But yeah, maybe possibly next time I play this, I could try to, based on my fuel, see how much it'll cost to get over to Gilly, or land on Eve and see if that'll work. I'll probably land and then not really ever take off from Eve. So it might just be you'll live there. at least this particular rendition of the ship might just live there. Okay, so we can speed up time here. Okay, great. Sorry, we maxed out on science. Okay, let's go back. Is this a challenge? Oh, I see. Yes. Transmit science. So because we have so much science from this thing, it actually is filling up a lot faster than the other stuff. The other time I was doing it. Okay, so we've transmitted that. It's all in there. Let's do it again. So we're going to have lots of science. Okay. And then we transmit. It's pretty silly. All right. And then we'll speed up time. Transmit faster. Okay. And then go again. It actually seems like it's going quicker now. I guess because I have part of my orbit is pretty far away. Don't use up all the science, please. Okay. Do this. Transmit science. I guess when you speed it up too much, you can speed it up some, and that helps this a bit. But then if you speed it up too much, it seems like it actually doesn't transmit at all. It's too busy with other stuff. He's happy. He's like, I really like this. This is great. I've been out here for a year. We are down to less than 6 scientists. Oh, man. Oh, don't use all the scientists. I see. Yeah, well, there are some on some other planets we can rescue back. I might do some rescue missions, like make a rescue craft at some point, maybe. Alright, so transmitting. Okay, and then I guess I'll use the rest of it. I can discontinue my, yeah. Oh, that's right, you probably have some out there still. So yeah, so I'll keep this guy just in orbit here, and then next time I play, I will either land it or go to the Mun, or if I land it, then I won't be able to really come back. So then Scotty would be sad. I'll think about it. I'll probably land it, or I feel like landing is cool. Because you're saying it's tougher to get off of this planet than it is Kerbin. So I'll have to keep that in mind. But I guess actually I have, like, this guy is something I would ditch. And then I actually have another engine, a small engine here. Which actually, yeah. SP, did you say it's harder to get off of this planet than it is Kerbin? Basket is trying to spread the word of science to all the world. Yeah. Alright. So let's slow down time. Transmit. Speed up time to finish the transmission. It's a lot tougher. Okay. Interesting. Alright, so if I land there, then I would never get back. Alright, let me think about that. And it's denser, so I'll probably fall faster, although I can use parachutes. I hire all available scientists. Okay, so that's working. That's good. Next time I'll consider going over to this, seeing how much fuel it takes. Because if I'm going to land, actually, I'm going to ditch this engine entirely at some point, and I'll be down to just that one. So I might actually come over here, maybe first, and then see if I can then come back over. The landing is a piece of cake. Right. Yeah. Right. I mean safely. Okay. So let me go back to the space station before I end the stream. Let's look at our Hall of Science. We have 3,186.1 science from that. So we can go on a shopping spree at the end of on the next stream, I think. So we'll buy some stuff, or I really don't need to, because I'm not going to build anything yet, but I'll be able to get quite a bit with that. So that's awesome. Excited about that. We're going to go ahead and end the stream here. Thank you everybody for coming.